Good evening, guys. A bit of an impromptu quick stream here. Don't know what that was. Just one moment. Yeah, there'll be some shenanigans in the house tonight. Quick impromptu stream to have a look at this potentially game-changing mod for Resident Evil Zero, as though out the blue, an item box mod has been released, which, amongst other things, disables the ability to drop items. When I did my recent replay for the podcast anniversary special, one of the biggest things I've seen that, Aaron. One of the biggest things I had an issue with this game was the needless backtracking, the having to cart around the hook shop between locations and things. And I pondered on that podcast episode some 7-8 months ago now. What would this game be like with an item box? I'd really love to see it. I hope someone can do it one day, and here we are. So we're not doing a full run or anything like that. We'll just get a feel and a flavour of how it is. Playing it in 4:3 aspect ratio. Let's just move the mouse cursor. There we go.
A midwestern town in America, Raccoon City. A solitary island far off in the sea, Rockfort Island. An island that would become the second Raccoon City, Sheena Island. There are still many unanswered questions about these seemingly unrelated yet intensely traumatic events. Though it is believed that the International Enterprise umbrella was somehow involved, little is known as to the origin of this faceless corporation. When was it established? By whom? And how was the T-Virus created? To uncover the truth, we must delve deeper into the events which transpired in the beginning, before the Mansion incident.
Game did have wonderful production value back in 2003. Item box is blasphemy, potentially, but I have no love for the drop item system. Welcome, Aaron, by the way. The reason why, as I said on the podcast, I think what you tend to do is you tend to create essentially a save room or a main hub area for your items anyway, and you, instead of having item boxes that are linked, you go for central areas where you put your items anyway, so it basically fulfills the same function as an item box, with the exception of the fact that they don't link to your other hubs that you set up. I have tested this briefly, just to make sure the mod was working and everything, and you'll find the implementation is not slick as such, but it does work and it's very clever. Welcome, Aaron, by the way. Thank you for joining me on this Monday night when I am on annual leave, so it is a drinking night every night.
Nothing in our training could ever have prepared us for the nightmare that ensued. We never stood a chance.
What's going on? Engine failure. Emergency landing.
Look at all these great Bravo team characters. I can't wait to learn more about them. I can't believe that we're starting right at the beginning of their investigation. I love so much about this introduction to Rebecca. It's just very sad to see where she's going in the movies. Oh, okay, it's interesting. You're not keen on the direction they've taken her in Vendetta in Death Island and Jackson Deck. Thank you, by the way. Welcome. Gotta support my boy Billy. Nick, hello, welcome. Nick, everybody's enjoying the joyous news that Disney are actually supporting physically their Disney Plus properties today. They have announced WandaVision, Loki and Mandalorian Seasons 1 and 2 will be coming to 4K Blu-rays by the end of the year.
Court order for transportation. Prisoner Billy Cohen, ex-lieutenant, 26
Why isn't it
years
spelt
old.
with a K? N64 version lied to me.
Sentenced to death July 22nd. Prisoners to be transferred to the Regathon base for execution.
Those poor soldiers. They were good men just doing their jobs, and that scum murdered them and escaped.
All right, everyone, let's separate and survey the area. Our friend is brutal and ruthless. Keep your guard up.
It's a good thing we mostly knew about the direction of the game before it came out, because imagine, you know, the feeling of your heart sinking now as you gradually realise you're not going to spend time with the Bravo team. I do see the appeal of more of a healer status taking high stakes settings, but Vendetta really did mishandle her. Absolutely. That's why we always said on the podcast that we much prefer her appearance in the stage. But even in Death Island, as nice as it is to see her, she's just kind of there. Yeah, she is good in the stage, yeah. We'll say, the game's got banging atmosphere. Always has done. Obviously, as I always like to point out, this background is not as good as it is on the GameCube version, though, because you do not get the dancing shadows of the trees outside and stuff like that. We won't really see the mod work until I can show you it though. It's not an issue. Look at me falling victim to the swapped controls there. I just tried to run and I went into my inventory.
This is Officer Chambers from STARS Bravo team. Please identify yourself. Is someone there?
It's not just the best fixed camera angle game visually. It's one of the, I think genuinely the HD version is one of the best looking games of all time. I think aesthetically, it doesn't matter how the image is constructed. Yeah, I know people say, well, it's pre-rendered, it's easy to look good. But the game is a perfect harmony of pre-rendered background against some frankly staggeringly high quality models. But which STARS member is dead in the train car there? Well, we'll get to see Edward. Or is there another? Did I miss one box logo? Have they is there an arbitrary one? I mean, just look at how high quality those backgrounds are. I mean, that is dazzling. Everyone's right. We're not doing like a lore run or anything like that. It's just literally a bit of a gameplay showcase. I think it's just Edward. Ah, it's Edward round the corner here. Yeah. Death, hello. Look at this. They might have made Zero playable. Welcome on this Monday Eve. Hope you're okay. Of course, you can, with the mod, you can actually not disable the discard button, but I like it off because it invokes that classic gameplay. But you can have a hybrid of both if you want. You can still leave the ability to drop items and or use the item box. So they haven't actually gone into the backgrounds and physically drawn in some fancy item boxes. You access it in the same way you do as RE4 Remake. It's actually on the typewriter. So record data, yes, no, or use item box. When you click use, you basically get your inventory screen. And even if, as you'll see later, when you've got Billy will appear in the partner window, but it's not his inventory when you're in the item box screen. And what happens is all you do is you just go down to exchange, and you can just put anything in there. And then anytime you access a typewriter later on, it'll have all these items available to you. This is a genuine game changer. Do I have the? I have the DLC on the PC version. Nice. Pick a costume, chat. Pick a costume. First person in chat picks the costume. What are we having? $96. Thank you, Death. There we go. Classic. I love the fact that it's the OG colour scheme as well.
Billy. Lieutenant Cohen.
So, you seem to know me. Been fantasizing about me, have you?
You're the prisoner that was being transferred for execution. You were with those soldiers outside.
Oh, I see. You're with stars. Well, no offense, honey, but your kind doesn't seem to want.
Is there a trophy for a knife only?
I'm afraid our little
Death, or is it just a personal achievement? I haven't trophy crunched the originals at all, really. Sorry, the remakes and Zero and whatnot at all.
I could shoot, you know.
I think the last RE game I platinumed was possibly 6. It's just absolute nonsense.
Are you alright? What happened?
When you're on ground level, trains are relatively high up, so Edward has really just done a Superman jump there. It's hilarious.
The forest is full of zombies and monsters.
Zombies and monsters.
And Rebecca utterly unfazed. One of only 2 times. It wasn't. That was a quiz question, wasn't it? I'm sure it was a quiz question, like fairly recently. Oh, camera angle. You can tell how unrehearsed I am with this. I hardly ever play it. You won't see any. I will promise you this: you will not see any form of slick gameplay from me on this little stream here.
This is Rebecca. Over. Enrico! Hello! Can you read me? Please respond.
Rebecca, I can hear you. Now listen up. We've obtained detailed information on the fugitive from a document found in the wrecked.
Your heart just sinks further because, like, even the Bravo team aren't doing anything to do with Umbrella or the T-Virus or the recent murders. It's just all Billy Cohen.
We've also confirmed that he was institutionalized, so keep your guard up. Can you hear me, Rebecca? Over.
Yeah, 18 years old.
Stay alert, Rebecca. You wouldn't think twice before killing you.
Enrico! Captain! Hello?
But yeah, 18-year-old, utterly unfazed by zombies and monsters. It's why I always think that despite the game essentially selling itself as a prequel, I actually think it's better if you play it. If you're doing a chronological playthrough, play it after Code Veronica, because then I think you get Rebecca as a narrator then, and there's a couple of moments in the game which imply she is narrating this.
Dangerous from here on in. Why don't
But the
we-
fact that like Rockfort and Sheena Island are recapped
You?
it's almost as though someone's looking back at the events, and I think it actually works better. And I think the character reactions to like the supernatural events that are going on
You expect me to
lean
trust
into
you?
it better than
No,
being the
I have
very
ventured
beginning of the storyline.
on my own. And don't call me little girl.
All right, Miss Do-It-Yourself. What should I call you?
The name is Rebecca Chambers, but that's Officer Chambers to you.
Well then, Rebecca, why don't you go and try while I wait here?
It's Zoe from the Baker Report. The FMV model that they have for Rebecca is fantastic, I think. She looks notably different from her in-game model, but
Excuse me, sir.
she still looks great.
Sir.
What you're about to see here is the best marksmanship of any character in the Resident Evil series, because how Billy is able to not hit Rebecca through, you know, fleshy leeches is utterly remarkable. It absolutely is Final Fantasy level at this, and we're about to see it right now. Yeah, there's some utterly puzzling decision making in this game.
Who is that guy?
What's going on? Who's controlling the train?
Go and check out the first engine car. Listen, we gotta cooperate with each other from now on. You got that?
Well, I don't...
Clue in, girl. Or maybe you like being worm bait.
All right. But you just remember, I will shoot you if you try anything funny.
Fine. Now take these with you. If you find anything, give me a call, all right?
I know what a radio is. Who do I usually send? God, I can never remember.
I'll go alone.
Okay.
Please ignore how far and fast you are travelling. Absolutely. This is what I mean. This game is nonsense, Nick. How does anyone even justify this? It's just... I mean, the speed... Like, I've been on a train today, and, you know, even most passenger trains don't go to this kind of speed. I mean, that scenery is whizzing past. And, you know, I still was able, on our train, still able to traverse some 20 miles in, like, 17 minutes. This... I've probably already done a mile in the time I've just been talking to you here. But I want to just say, the first time you got up here on the GameCube version in 2003, I cannot describe to you how absolutely incredible this looked. It just was staggering. The visuals on the remake in Zero were like nothing else at the time. Absolutely nothing else. Yeah, you know, other games were possibly technically better in terms of pushing textures and, you know, big 3D open worlds, but on an aesthetic level, I don't think anything looked better of the era, to be honest. like I say, it's, you know, you look past the technicalities of how the image is made and just look at what the end result is on the screen. Made you jaded to play it. It did in some ways, yeah, and even back then it made like it made the classic trilogy visually look quite dated, even just within like 5-6 years. It's got blast processing. It's the Resident Evil on the Sega Genesis. That one zombie bite put Rebecca on caution. Christ. One of my most utterly hated mechanics as well, because it's just so slow in its implementation. Why they make you have to sit through the shelf arriving and then sending and then the door opening. Why can't you just pick an item and send it? It's just, you know, why do you have to then choose to then send it once the item's in place? It's just, it's all so slow. Why is there an extra prompt to press the button? This is one of the reasons why this game just feels so clunky. This game is too hard for me generally. Well, I mean, it's a strange one because easy is like beyond simple in terms of like the combat and things like that. Normal's probably about right, but it does have some interesting peaks. And hard is one of the hardest hard experiences in the series, I think. It really puts you to the test. I know some better players of this game can use fancy footwork to get around the zombies, but I am not skilled enough to do stuff like that. I will just hemorrhage health. And they really, really do love putting zombies right on the flip of a camera angle in this title, and that sucks. That was poor. It's a nice close-up. Doesn't help with how some of the more basic BOWs are programmed. Well, they've also got some. I think I've talked about this before on the podcast. There's some cheating AI in this as well. Previously, you would be able to, you know, it's more attainable now with the 3D controls, because you can actually like juke zombies and get them to go one way, and you can quickly blitz around them the other. But certainly when you're playing on tank controls, they've got things like zombies can change direction mid-lunge, which was a new thing. And like the spider charges, you know, historically would always, like, once the animation was started, they just go in, they just beeline in one direction. Whereas even they can sort of turn on a dime now, and it's kind of broken. And this is one of the reasons why I actually don't mind the 3D modern control system, because I actually think it levels the playing field a bit against, as you say, the BOW programming. If only Captain Wesker were here. I'm surprised at how little he is implemented in this game, and even though the cutscenes with Birkin are welcome, he really should have had a greater presence given the nature of the title. So what we got? So best combine that. I can probably take that with me. Captain Wesker, where's Chris? I'm probably going to die on the Scorpion because I suck at this fight. Do the GT trick. Standing against the wall and just knife down, isn't it? Jesus, is there no time writer in here? Oh, fuck. I haven't even got a knife. Where the hell did you get the knife from? Oh, I've made a right ash of this. I'm gonna have to go. Oh no, can I even go? I can't. No, I've broken this. Because I've picked up the. Oh God. Because I've picked up the. Because I've picked up the ice pick, it will now trigger the boss fight. But I can't drop the ice pick because of the mod, hilariously. And the game is kind of designed around you being able to drop items, so I can't actually get back to the save room to save, and this is going to be interesting. I can't actually do anything here. It's a good thing we're not doing a run as such, but I can't even pick up the shotgun. So it's going to have to be the GT trick using the pistol. Mish, here it comes in pints. Oh, Mish, I didn't even notice you'd come in. Hello. Rebecca can mix a good herb, but she can't even enjoy a good pint. Do Americans know about pints? It comes in pints. I'm getting one. Where the fuck do you get the knife? As Rebecca then. Even with the modern control screen movement in this game feels a lot more weighty. Absolutely, yeah, which makes something like the baiting and the duking zombie slightly more difficult. Absolutely, yeah, it feels fundamentally broken to what you're used to. This is gonna go horribly wrong. This is, I'm telling you. It's literally not this easy, is it? Insane action gaming. It is this easy. You're joking. Why do I always try and run up to it and do more damage then and stuff like that? I've been self-nerfing myself for years. I've always tried to run up and get close range shots with a shotgun in the hope of killing it quicker, and my God. More satisfying with the knife, absolutely. If only the bat was like this. I've watched a Carcinogen. I mentioned this on the podcast as well. Carcinogen's got a really good method of taking it out by stun locking it with the grenade launcher, but it's still tricky to implement, and you probably won't do it every time. Game facts on knives. Knife is located in 2 areas. Billy starts with one, the other one is in cabin 202. Oh, I missed it. My God. Oh, it's the one I'm about to drop into, isn't it? See, I can't even pick up that yet. I should have done an item box run before we started. So I'm going to have to go in and deposit a few of these. So, like I say, we just access the item box, and we'll chuck that in there, and we'll chuck. No, we need that, but I don't need the shotgun shells. And we'll live dangerously, and we'll put the back. Then we're going to have to see. This is where the item box mod. You probably might want to leave the leave item on as well, to be honest, to get around issues like what we've just experienced. Because otherwise you're going to end up doing like runs back and forth to the item box, and that in some ways will defeat the purpose of why you want to implement it in the first place. Josimar, welcome. How are you? I'm alright, thank you. Enjoying annual leave, so this is why we've got beers flowing on a Monday evening. No idea this mod existed. I didn't until the latter end of last week, and I was away last week, so I wasn't able to test it. This is the first real evening I've had to give it a blast. It seems good so far. It's slightly quirky in how it's implemented, but just to show you what happens. So if you chuck it in, if you go beyond, you have to select an empty spot, and then it's there. Look. So it basically functions as a classic item box. It just looks like the Zero inventory. And what will you be streaming, Nicholas? I can't remember what you were doing last. Let's leave the shotgun. And you access, for those who weren't here earlier when I was explaining how it works, the item boxes are literally done in RE4 remake style. You access them at the typewriters. These controls do still have Shadows Rose to do, must likewise. Be gone, zombie. Remake 2 or 4, nice. No, we won't do that just yet. I need to psych myself up for remake 4. Play it in assisted. It really isn't an issue in assisted at all. You will not struggle at all with assisted for remake. Yeah. God, it's just. I think I need to psych myself up just to even load it up though. As I've explained in previous streams, I can't recall an RE game I've fallen off harder than remake.
Let's regroup.
Roger.
Remake 4. I literally. I think I've played through it twice, and the last time I played it was probably May. I don't think I've played it at all since then, bar a brief stint on getting the S ranks for the mercenaries and stuff. He did all 30 hours on stream. It's commendable, sir. Let's move Billy over here. The inevitable zombie arrival. Oh, come on, Billy. That was delayed. RE4 is quite a long game, so I usually stick to the ones I know I can beat in another 3 hours. It feels long as well, doesn't it? I know people can finish it in like less than 5 hours, because obviously, you know, many have, but it still feels weighty when you start it. And yeah, as was in the quiz question not so long ago, that is the end of the Cerberus in the game, or zombie dogs, if you will. Although these technically would be Cerberus, a mixture of both. Do you have a favourite character from franchise character stars, and why is it Derek Simmons? I like Derek Simmons though. You may jest, but I actually do feel in an alternate timeline he would have been the perfect replacement for Wesker in the series moving forward. I think they have missed a trick with old Derek Simmons. Needs to be Billy. David Lodge, who voices him as a real Joan. Yeah, he's excellent. Always quite a quirky bit of trivia to know that he narrates the announcement trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
This one.
Roger.
And because of what they did with Simmons in RE6 as well, like the moment all that potential basically did Rebecca get bitten there? Probably did. Because they, basically, oh my gosh, still alive. Got rid of all that potential the moment he got a needle in his neck. The series has been on a downward trajectory with villains ever since, and we're just getting one-note villains all the time. And that's not to say all of them have been bad. I quite like Alex Wesker, but they don't seem to want any of them to stick around longer than they need to. So we need to go to the item box. We need to go to the item box. Who'd have thought? Yeah, there are a series of Bond. I mean, that speak nothing of the movies. So both characters can access the item box at the same time. That's pretty good. Yes, of course. We've not had a villain who hasn't been a BOW since Survivor. Frederick Downing, if you're talking pure canon stakes, which is why he should have been the villain in bloody Vendetta. And then they could have linked the CGI movies in some way. And Svetlana, I suppose. She didn't become a BOW. Oh, why would you do this to me, game? Oh, and G. Curtis, yeah, I suppose, yeah. Oh, have I missed the... I missed the hookshot thing, haven't I? Here we go. So how many miles would we have traversed by now, Nick? Because the train ain't getting any slower, look. I'm in Canada. RA villain injects self with coloured goo. Oh my god! I think Death Island's one of the worst examples of that, and as I said on the podcast review, I know in some ways it does play into Dylan's somewhat suicidal nature, but it seems utterly preposterous to me that he enacts his big plan and then just turns into a sea monster. And if they'd if the heroes had won the day there, like what does Dylan do? Ooh, frame rate. Dylan was a chump, absolutely. Who is the guy from Degeneration? Frederick Downing. The vaccine!
Come on!
Yeah.
I'll go.
So somewhat excitingly now, we can change to Billy, and we can open the item box, and forgive the language, but get rid of this fucking thing. We can put this in here, and now we don't have to worry about it anymore. It can stay there. Billy can have his shotgun for when he's running around the management training facility, but yep, we do not have to worry about that now. I think we're good to go. Oh, the chum with the G-Virus, Curtis. Another RE character played by Roger Craig Smith. Oh, man.
Come on.
Okay.
So what you're saying is, Nick, we're just doing a big circle. To be a big picture. You ready for the appearance of our star guys? Richard Wile's best performance of Wesker though is probably in this game because it's a lot more muted, and I know it's the one he's probably the most proud of.
This is Delta Team. This is Delta Team. We have gained control of the train. Over.
Understood.
This does not make any sense. How was the T-virus leaked? And why did it contaminate both the lab and the mansion, as well as a train almost 3 miles away?
That's irrelevant. We must make sure no knowledge of this gets out. Destroy the train. Completely. How far away are you from the nearest branch line?
About 10 minutes to...
What happened?
USS, yep, it is. Yep, the Delta Team.
The train will either derail or crash. I gotta stop this thing.
Who will stay behind? Let's send Rebecca. Just oh no, I've clicked the wrong way round.
Control panel for the brake. Then you apply the brake from here, okay?
All right. Billy.
What?
It's so nonsense that the cutscene basically sends your character to the door, but then doesn't give you the card key. And this is exactly how, and I've done it too, Nick. That's exactly how you experienced woe that day. But it's not intuitive because of the way it sends the character who's going. The cutscene sends them to the door. You don't, unless you notice the flashing card item right at the bottom of the screen. You know, how are you going to know to go back and pick it up? I think it's not unreasonable to assume most people would just think you have it. So many zombies in this area, man. Look, it's endless. Sorry, Edward. What an unceremonious departure from the canon you have. You departed as quickly as you arrived. Okay.
Billy, I've engaged the control device for the brake. Over.
Roger. I'll put the brake on now.
Oh god. Didn't mean to press that one. 10. 19, 28, 37, 46, 55, 64, 73. There we go. There's no way anyone would survive this as well. This is absolutely ridiculous. And if this is one of the trains that's supposed to go to the management training facility, why is it all blocked off anyway? There shouldn't be any items on the floor because all the items are in the fucking item box. It's exciting. It's an exciting development.
Rebecca!
I'm here.
Are you alright? Hey.
Can you see any Ivans kicking about? Anybody?
We managed.
We have to find a way out.
Oh no, I've run the wrong way. Come on, oh, I've made a right hash of this, haven't I? So I must have just missed one ink ribbon. My queen tattoo is undamaged.
You stay here.
Okay.
No, I didn't mean to press that.
Okay.
Okay, right. For the management training facility, first person in chat, pick a costume. What are we having for the next section? First person who picks a costume will be the one that we get. Western. Thank you, Jack's on deck. There we go. I suppose while we're at it, we need to.
I'll go check over there.
I keep
Come on.
pressing the wrong button. Made. Well, maybe next. What we giving Billy? Cody's a pretty deep cut. I have to commend Capcom for that. Cody, okay, yeah, that is a deep cut. I literally did that section with no ammo to spare. What is the reference? Cody is Cody from Final Fight in the Street Fighter timeline gets locked up and put in prison, and in Street Fighter Alpha 3 he's actually in the full prison garb as a character. Ooh, sorry about that. Just had a prompt come up. There we go.
First general manager.
So unless you're well versed in Street Fighter and Final Fight, you know that you won't actually realise why Cody is who Cody is for a start, but also why he's wearing prison attire, because he doesn't usually. Usually he's dressed like Axel from the Streets of Rage series.
Please be silent as we
Please be silent.
Obedience breeds discipline. Discipline breeds unity. Unity breeds power. Power is life.
Who are you?
Who are you?
I who scattered the T-virus in the mansion. Needless to say, I contaminated the train too.
What?
Revenge. On Umbrella.
This is such... Batman and I, we agree on most things to do with the RE series. In fairness,
Dr. Marcus?
but how he puts this Highland Code Veronica, I'll never understand.
You helped them, didn't you?
Sorry, John, if you're out there watching, but so we can so we item box, we'll go and use the item box, and everything from the train is here, and it is wonderful. Things like the carrying the petrol around, you don't need to just you just chuck that in an item box now it's ready for when you get your bottles. It's I like this a lot. Does it break the game a little bit? I guess it might, but are you bothered? Because the game is broken in some of its implementations anyway, so does it really matter? It is a quality of life feature, absolutely, but it's probably going to make the game, beyond a couple of the issues that we saw earlier, you might want to leave the ability to drop items still in. I can see merit in that, because just simply because that's how the game is constructed to be able to do those things. But it just feels nice to know I can just grab these herbs quick. And I can just chuck them straight in here now. And I know that they're there, they're banked for when I need them later. Because this is what I do in RE games. I bank stuff. I don't carry the herbs and stuff around with me. I chuck them in the item box, and then I know they're there if I need them. As I'm sure most people play with a sense of a sense of planning and organisation. I hate these camera pans. I really, really do not like them. I just think doing it with a static camera just feels a bit stunted and awkward. You don't get a set. It makes the backgrounds feel very flat, I feel. Right, so I'm going to chuck this in there as well. Capcom do have the ability to create similar on-paper locations, yet they all have a totally unique atmosphere. This is very similar to the Spencer Mansion, yet feels different. It does, and I mean that's one thing I can't critique.
I'll go alone.
Okay.
04 is its atmosphere in the management training facility is unrivaled, I think. Quick zombie. I like the way the USS zombies are no harder to kill, despite the fact that they should be wearing like bulletproof vests. That's it. I mean, just look at the lighting. Just like that as a shot. Like you don't get much better in RE than that aesthetically. Like that is the RE series to me. Just the way the lighting is, the detail, the environmental storytelling. I'm heavily critical of this game, I really am, but but my god, aesthetically is just it is dazzling. Getting lucky, getting nice with some crits today. It's things like you can grab every single fuel can you come across now, and just chuck them in the item box, and then every time you get a bottle, you can just take it from that supply. Dead Man's Click. Oh man, that was unlucky. That was such a shame, that was, to miss that last zombie, but it's fine. Zombies are epic. We get another Enforced Survivor run. Yeah, you do, don't you? Yeah. I've still never finished Force Survivor in Remake 2. I absolutely suck at it. I'm so terrible at it. So obviously now I can't, because what I would historically do with Zero is these items, the statues, the white and black statues, I would go to where the puzzle is and drop them all around that area. We can't do that now, so we're just gonna have to bank them. And that's kind of cool. I like that. Some ink ribbons, we don't need to, but we can just, sling them in there too. What have I just exchanged? I've tried to take the hook shot. Why would anyone do that? So this is working. I like this. This feels already more in line with a more classic, more refined experience that we're perhaps used to. Now it's just trying to remember the sort of sequence of events around the end. I don't play this game enough to have a well rehearsed playthrough of it. Bella. The absolutely ineffective crow jump scare, which is not a jump scare because of that really awkward pause that all versions have. It's almost like it has to load the crow in for that half second. You get that static angle, whereas if they maybe burst as soon as you pick the item up, it would play out slightly better. But
this way.
Okay.
does it still stutter on the HD version? I thought the HD version had fixed that sort of camera angle stuttering, but maybe it hasn't. Again, I don't play the remake enough, really, and the remake's exceptional, but I just tend to always go RE1 now. I love the remake, I really do, and I think on paper the remake of RE1 is absolutely the best Resident Evil game, probably ever made. But I just always revisit the original more. It's fixed in HD, if I'm not mistaken. It was an ad. It was part of the conversation. Okay, yeah, sorry about the ads. That should be the only one you get for the hour, though, because I have staggered them. This is all I can do. I can't turn them off, I don't think, unless anyone can correct me, but I have been able to delay the mid-broadcast ads to an hour now. Nothing to be sorry about. It isn't, but I just wish we could turn them off altogether. Death. Twitch is never going to be anything that is going to be a career change for me. So I just wish, for the purposes of you guys, I could just disable them altogether. I don't make any money from this, so to force ads on people just is a bit. It's not something I'm overly comfortable with. Oh, certainly not sorry about that. Absolutely. I'm proud of my desire. No, I don't want to send you up there. Do you have to send Rebecca up? You do, don't you? Is Billy going to be too heavy? My God, this sucks. Rebecca's going to get killed here. The best way I think I've been able to sort of summarise how I feel about that is that it feels like a dollhouse frozen in time. It almost looks like everything's just too unusual. It's almost, yeah, like you say, too well decorated, for the purposes of it. Oh, Nick, I'll try and show you the centipede method as well, if I've got enough handgun ammo to do it. Because we're a little bit low on handgun ammo, actually. Because we used so many for the stinger. The remake is a really fantastically well-designed haunted house experience, but I don't know whether I necessarily believe it more than the remake, with the original, which is a grand irony, I think, given obviously what its purpose is. It's Mr. Crow! Oh no. See, this is a good botch as well, because I've left Billy utterly defenceless here, and I know there's a zombie still alive outside. So I'm going to have to, thankfully, get past it. So there is also a no doors mod, which isn't implemented as well as it perhaps should be, but it's the same one that you use for the remake. In the remake, it actually takes away the door scenes altogether, whereas on Zero you do get like a second of them. Next podcast is remake retrospective, right? Yeah, so I don't know whether you follow me on Twitter, Jack's on Deck, but I've been pulling together opinions of OG versus the remakes for the last year or so, and it's all for the purposes of the research that's gone into the impact of the remakes and whether having a preference ultimately even matters. If you want to like the original or the remake, more power to you. Does it really matter if one replaces the other now? Because it seems, for me it does, personally, it absolutely does, because it's never going to be anything other than the OGs for me. But I don't speak for the entire community, and I think it's important to take in the feedback of everybody and actually acknowledge that there are people growing up that weren't even alive when this fucking game came out, Zero. The people enjoying the series now that only ever experience of Resident Evil 2 and 3 certainly are going to be the remakes. And until Capcom sort that issue out and get the OGs put out in some capacity, whether it's on the PlayStation Store or whatever, this can be the reality potentially forever. If the OGs are going to be lost to time, then is it right to condemn those that prefer the remakes? Because we've had a fairly hard stance on the podcast over the years, and I appreciate and I fully respect the fact that we have been kind of negative about the remakes at times. And when they come along and they're actually pretty good, it's almost pleasant to acknowledge. But even when you acknowledge the quality of the product, it's hard to look past it in terms of how it replacing the originals is a hard thing for me to swallow. And if Capcom do one day turn around and say, I'm sorry fans of the OGs, but in terms of our core canon, the remakes are now locked in, this is 100% the events that happened and transpired on those nights. As of this day, the Dead Factory is retconned and it's gone forever, and that's just that, that's going to be tough for me to get past. But it is what it is. We need to get a date in the diary. We do. Is there a reason you choose Twitch over YouTube? Twitch just has got me more viewers historically. I say as I look now, and I've got 7 of you. The couple of times I streamed to YouTube, I literally didn't get a single viewer. It's you get lost in the YouTube algorithm. That's the most horrible thing. Whereas Twitch is a little bit more centered to recommending you more like-minded things. You've really got to crack the YouTube algorithm, and with my 100 subscribers on YouTube, no one would ever see it unless I advertise it. And whereas we do get newcomers, and as I look on my Twitch feed, I can see in the last couple of months I've had 4 new followers. It does happen, whereas on YouTube it's next to impossible to get any kind of traction or momentum unless you are literally massive on YouTube. Is that all we've got then? I'm sure it'll be enough, but I'm going to take Rebecca's Samurai Edge anyway, just on the off chance that it's not. I mean, I've actually toyed with, I mentioned it on the last couple of streams, Mish, of potentially using Kick, because it seems a lot of people are going to Kick these days. I say a lot of people. I've seen about 2 mutuals in the community.
You stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, Death. And like I say, if you're not well known on YouTube, no one is going to watch your stream unless you literally advertise it. but even then it's consigned to your bubble, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's always nice to, you know, to sometimes be streaming on Twitch and seeing a couple of new faces turn up. YouTube, you just need to just provide an endless torrent of... Oh, I can't get this going. There we go. God. Yeah, unless you're providing an endless torrent of content to YouTube, you can't make it work. When Sony implements it, I'll be just streaming direct on Twitch directly. Yeah, that's an excellent idea, and I may well do the same. To be fair, there's nothing to stop me streaming this directly to Twitch, to Discord. Right, before we start the Centurion fight, I just need to take a quick 2-minute break. Just one moment. We're back, and the umbrella light still hanging in there. Right, here we go. This is nonsense as well. It's just a nonsense fight. It's so stupid. And again, you know, Billy the perfect marksman. But all I do, Nicholas, is I put myself about here. And just auto-aim it to death. Just always keep hitting L1. Or whatever, you know, left bumper to always recenter. And if you've got the angle just right, and I'm just going to reposition, it will always move away. And this is all you have to do. Unbelievable. It's like the Stinger again, isn't it? Although ammo could be an issue here because I didn't take the shotgun. No, there we go. There we go. That's it. Spencer Zero, hello!
Are you alright?
Welcome to a truly game-changed Resident Evil Zero. But yeah, my heart sunk for you a little bit, Nick, when you said, you know, how much trouble the Centurion gave you, and I'm just thinking... Yeah, you don't even have to move. You just auto aim and shoot, Item box mod, it's good. It's implemented really well. It has led to a couple of potential issues, so you might want to leave, if you ever try it, you might want to leave the ability to still be able to drop items, because it has been disabled now. There's a couple of areas of the game where, like, the triggering needs you to pick up certain items, and you can, I guess you can potentially hard lock yourself out of the game, because if you can't pick up, like, the ice pick in the train, if you've run out of inventory, I know you should be able to still do that, that's fine. Once you pick up the ice pick in the train, it will make the Stinger boss happen, and if you've not got the right resources and things, you can't go back to your item box to be able to re-equip and whatnot. So there's a few issues. It's not perfect, but with, you know, further implementation, it absolutely will be, I think. Always good for people to fix Zero's myriad problems a day at a time. Will it ever truly be fixed? That's the question. I've only got about, for the final 10 minutes then, as you've because you are probably the last person who's going to join, Spencer, I will give you the honour of choosing Rebecca's attire for the last 10 minutes. Of all these glorious costumes, Spencer, which would you like? The nurse. An excellent choice. There we go. So what can we... I suppose we can go and do... I'm going to go and do the microfilm, can't we? Do I just want to send Billy? I probably just want to send Billy. But he's got no handgun ammo. Might have to use a shotgun. No, I don't want to examine it, you fool. I'm not near enough, that's why. You can give RE0 item boxes, but it's stylistically designed to be that way, yeah. Exactly, you are essentially just applying a band-aid over something that'll never heal, but we can but try. So I'm not even going to bother going in the bathroom, because honestly, who does? Oh gosh, yeah. Haven't done the clock puzzle yet. Oh man. Means that's going to be there waiting for me. That's good fun. Right.
Let's go.
Okay.
So one of the fire doors is back this way, isn't it? Yeah. In fact, I may as well go and get the lighter fluid from the kitchen. And then I can go up there and do that door. And then we'll probably... I may have gone to view... If only she... Well, yeah, I don't know. Whose blame do we lie at the feet of this? It's such a difficult to define game, it really is. And I know people like, you know, I mentioned earlier, like, you know, Batman has issues with how overblown and somewhat supernatural Code Veronica is, but I find Code Veronica absolutely grounded compared to where this game goes with some of its attitude to its monsters and things like that. I just... Only 7 saves. Everything kills you in 1 hit. No upgrades. What for this? Oh, even within 2. You know, beyond the demo of the first Evil Within, I've never played them, and a lot of people say the second one's actually better. Code Veronica is really tame. You see, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. But you know, it's like I say, it's one of the only things that you know, John and I, Batman, passionately disagree on. Well, they really hate. Oh. Thank you, but you know, we usually trash the AI using weapons when they shouldn't do, but that was a lifesaver there. Why am I carrying the microfilm around? It's such an amateur error. Ivan Raptor, what are your predictions for the RE0 live-action movie called Umbrella Chronicles? Do you think Paul Anderson can do a lot of Absolutely. Absolutely. What we have to bear in mind that with the live-action RE things is we're seeing a downward trajectory for nearly every single live-action property, and you know, I'm probably the only one on the team that has to disagree with the rest that Welcome to Raccoon City did not work for me really in any kind of capacity. I find absolutely no merit in that movie beyond the cast, which I think were wonderful. It started at 0 and somehow went beneath that, absolutely. And I don't even see the first live action RE as being a somewhat passable Aliens ripoff. I just think it's trash. I think it really is not good. The only thing that makes sense is that RE's... Well, maybe it's an adaptation of the Umbrella Chronicles, so we can get tyrants wearing sunglasses. I watched a few scenes on YouTube of Welcome to Raccoon City, and yeah, it's such a shame because that cast is really... The cast is really quite something. You know, I think Kaya, I can't pronounce her surname, is a great Claire. God, which of the Amels was it who played Chris? Is great casting. Is it Robbie? Is it Robbie Amell? Yeah, it is Robbie, isn't it? He's a great Chris. Looks the part, plays it well. And Hannah was one of my picks for Jill, and the fact that she actually got the role and was so awfully utilised in that narrative, it hurts. It really, really hurts. It was absolutely wasted. Johans, how do you do, fellow Ari? Yeah, it is that. It is kind of that, isn't it? I thought the heart was in the right place. I know you did, Nick. It's certainly not the film I think Roberts was set out to make. Oh God, I keep pressing all the wrong buttons here, man. You can almost feel in the production that at some point there was an 11th hour change that certainly changed course with what they were planning on doing. Because when they were talking about it, and you had like Richard's actor promising we were going to have snakes and spiders and stuff like that, and then none of it turns up in the finished product, you can't help but think something has gone amiss somewhere. Alright, steady Billy, stop now. Let's have you idling a second. You go over there. Rebecca's got this. God, I don't need. I don't think I've ever tried to push something as Rebecca before, something heavy, and got that little animation prompt there. There's actually I see a Steam achievement has actually just popped for it as well. Supping the monster, the boomer drink of choice. So I thought the heart was in the right place, somewhere on the outside of the chest. Oof. Achievements and trophies when gaming took a nosedive. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. As much as I've collected many across the years, and I do actually think the From Software ones are pretty good because they encourage you to see all parts of the game they've made. They're not always great because they sometimes encourage you to play a game in a way you maybe wouldn't. RPGs in particular. So we can put that in our item box. We haven't got the grenade launcher yet, so you don't have to worry about, carting endless grenades around because you can just chuck them in the item box now. We need that for a puzzle. We can put the bottles in there because we're not going to be fighting any leap zombies tonight. And I'll probably just do this. I'll probably just go and do the clock puzzle, get those doors unlocked, and then wrap it up for the evening. This has been interesting because it kind of is brilliant.
Let's split up.
Roger.
Baldur's Gate 3 has been too massive. I've barely scratched the surface of it. It is intimidatingly big for someone like me who struggles to get through even a standard few hours experience. I'm probably going to be looking at. I've had Baldur's Gate 3 finished in the next 5 years. I'll still be there. With this and the Survivor Third Age, going to Golden Age of mods, we are. Absolutely. Oh, come on. Good game though, Baldur's Gate 3. I like it a lot. I've been quite engrossed with it. Why do they have to... See, this is another thing. Why can't you just use your left and right on the D-pad to just move the hands? I've not even met Karlach yet, Spencer, so I shall look forward to that. She's hot, literally. Okay, cool. No complaints there. You see, this is interesting. I'm gonna just run to a typewriter and we'll finish up here for the evening because it's getting late. This mod is a game changer, and I know for a fact that by the time I finish this playthrough, it will have made the game better. But it's funny how your brain is still not wired in a way that makes it feel intuitive yet. I think that'll come with a few playthroughs. But to the point where it may then unbreak your brain in terms of how you're used to playing it with the ability to drop items everywhere. It's going to be one of those things that as you get more and more used to an item box playthrough where there's not literally, because by the time, you know, if I could show you one of my previous playthroughs, like this room here that you're all looking at now, the floor is just littered with just shit all over the place. And obviously now, because of this mod, it's completely clear. It's a classic Resident Evil experience. If I want any of these items, I need to go to here and I need to open the item box. So to unwire your head in terms of how you know instinctively how to play Zero, because this is how we've played it for the last 20 years, to then undo that and do a different mindset might potentially break how you're used to playing it another way. And if you're sort of a console gamer and a PC player, and on the PC you play Zero with this mod, and on the consoles that you play it, obviously you can't mod that, so you're playing it the way it's designed to be, it's gonna throw you off, I think. Nah, she'd be alright. She'd be alright with that. I've shown a Cammy in SF6 and said, like, look at this. This is a well designed character, aesthetically pleasing. One thing I love about Zero is the unique item saving screens for each typewriter in the game as well. I think it's ace. Cammy is not a fantasy, man. Don't do that to me. Jury, the SF6 women, can't go wrong. They're all fantastic. So, first impressions of the mod then. Absolutely wonderful. It'd be nice to see in future versions, and I'm sure they're being worked on, a slightly better graphical interface that isn't just basically your partner character's inventory. But it's getting there, you know. It functions as an item box, and that's all we wanted. Like, look at it, just look at it. It's a Zero. It seems almost unbelievable we're able to do this. You know, and you can just bring out your bottles and combine a few, and then when you've done that, you just chuck them back in the box for when you need them. And you can put 1 or 2 or 3. You can split your item packs, and let's just chuck all that in there, and it's ace. It's exactly what it wants to be. Marissa is a frightening character to play against, though. Spencer. She's one of those characters that if you're against a reasonably accomplished Street Fighter player, it's a frightening experience. And so is Manon, to be fair. If you get someone who just cheeses out driving packs and then goes straight into the command grab, she can rack up her damage very, very quickly, and it's frightening. But yeah, don't know when I'll get back to Zero, because we're obviously in the middle of doing other things like RE5 and that. But just with the launch of this mod, I wanted to get one stream in just to see how the game felt, see how it played, and it's good. I'm impressed. It's one of those ideas that you never thought would be possible, and I think, you know, when you first see, like, there's an item box mod, you think, oh my god, have they actually gone in and put in, like, you know, some 3D item boxes on the stages? They haven't. It's implemented the same way Remake 4 does it, but there's no issue with that at all. It still functions, and we're talking about the function of it is exceptionally good. That's all we needed. I'll play when they add my main. Who is your main in Street Fighter? Because it can't be Dr. Doom, because I know that's your main in Marvel vs. Capcom. Actually, have Vega, wow. I never knew that. Impressive. Tough character. Vega with stance switching and everything in SF5 is quite a technical character. Anyway, I could ramble about Street Fighter all day, but sadly, the night must intrude. And I will turn the lamp off for another time. Not the face, not the face. You bitch, I'll make you suffer. Thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your week. It's good. If you've got a PC and you've got the ability to check it out yourself, just give this mod a try and see how it makes you feel about Zero. It might even make you reappraise the game. And that's a hell of a thing in 2023, some 20 years after the game has come out. Until next time, I will see you all very, very soon. Take care and bye-bye.